Welcome to this MOOC, which will deal with general knowledge regarding the approach to and transition to sustainability in one's organization. My name is Professor Andy van der Dobbelsteen. Between 2021 and 2026, I was responsible for the Sustainability Action Plan of TU Delft. And with my companions, I think we can teach you a lot about the process to change an organization. But first, I want to start with a bit of history to understand our position in time. There are earlier records about dealing with environmental challenges, but I want to start with the Club of Rome, who shared their worries already in the year 1972. Based on scientific research, they identified an exponential growth of the world's population and hence the demand for resources. They saw the end to the extraction of resources and fossil fuels and therefore their depletion. Due to the emissions of our economy, they also observed a deterioration of the atmosphere and environment. Their report was a warning to mankind. 1.5 decades later, a UN commission led by the Norwegian Prime Minister Gro Harlem Brundtland came with a report that defines sustainable development. It is a development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the needs of future generations. This is where the term sustainability comes from. Very important to understand, because their work is often simplified, is that Brundtland and her co-writers strive for a just division between rich and poor and for a balance between economy and ecology. 10 years later, Elkington came with the concept of Triple P, the balance in sustainability by a focus on people, social sustainability, planet, ecological sustainability, and profit, later luckily changed to prosperity, economic sustainability. McDonough and Braungaart came forward in 2002 with their book called Cradle to Cradle, in which they introduced a circular economy and advocated waste equals food, the source of energy is the sun, we should respect diversity in people and nature, and regarding materials, finite materials should be used infinitely, and we should use natural cycles and bio-based materials more. Finally, in 2015, the UN agreed to go for 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Here you see them. In fact, these are overarching goals that include all the objectives of earlier publications. Let's focus a bit more on the environmental problems. Firstly, we need to understand a few theoretical analyses of our Earth system. This starts with Tomaszek, who distinguished 3 components: abiotic, biotic, and conceptual. Odum presented the relationships of a city with its environs. And based on that, Christensen had Tomaszek's components interact with each other, and he added a physical component above them. This, in my viewpoint, describes best how we as humans influence the Earth. There are 3 levels at which we influence what is going on the Earth. There is the upward effect of our emissions, which for instance aggravate climate change. Around us, on our level of life, we have an influence on the health of ecosystems and of ourselves, with the last carcinogenic means causing cancer. Mutagenic means changing genetic codes. And teratogenic means changing the unborn child, a severe effect of pollutants. Finally, the downward influence considers the extraction and depletion of underground resources. Problem of these environmental problems is that they are rather there and then than here and now. For this MOOC, we use this image, which are stripes of temperature anomalies, blue meaning colder, red warmer, compared to the long-term average. Here you see it more clearly for the Netherlands. It only goes until 2022, but if we add the 2 years after, we see bars that even run higher. 2023 was a record, and 2024 equaled it. Now, this was for the Netherlands, but if we look worldwide, we see a similar pattern. Especially the seawater temperature is a good indicator, because it heats up and cools down much slower than the air. And here you see that for the Atlantic Ocean between 60 degrees south and north. So, climate change is fast, faster than ever before happened because of natural causes. The reason can only be anthropogenic, meaning caused by human beings, which is also recognized by the IPCC, the International Panel on Climate Change, who came with a warning to radically reduce the emission of CO2 components to stay within 1.5 and 2 degrees of global warming. They remain optimistic, but since we already crossed 1.5 degrees in 2025, which was meant for 2050, we must act rapidly. Everyone, organizations and individuals alike, need to do what is possible in the circle of influence. So, what can you or your organization do? Firstly and foremost, you need to approach and organize a sustainable transition, for instance through an action plan. Secondly, take action on your campus or in your public or commercial area. Thirdly, take measures related to your real estate, energy and hardware. And finally, and certainly not least, tackle the difficult part of your operations, including travel, food and the procurement of staff. I hope that you recognize these steps and that you want to set a change in motion. We feel honored to help you on your journey of sustainable transition. See you here soon again.